Welcome to First Parish in Waltham. We are so glad you're here. Wherever you are, whoever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. My name is Deb Jose. My volunteer job this year is to serve as your president on the Board of Managers. My pronouns are she, her, and I have on dark glasses and my brand new Star Island sweatshirt. Here are this week's announcements. We try to make our service as accessible as possible with hearing helpers and large print versions of service materials available from our ushers. This week's newsletter highlights several upcoming events, including our Summer Consortium, Fifth Friday, Book Club's rescheduled date, Beep Baseball, Coffee Hour, and future service dates. Copies are available at the entrances to the building. To receive an emailed copy each week, please speak to one of our greeters. Interested in donating flowers for a Sunday service? The sign-up is in the newsletter. Pastoral care is available to everyone, newcomers, members, and visitors alike. Please reach out for any assistance. If you'd like to join, sign up through our newsletter. The annual report deadline is Tuesday, May 26th at 7 a.m. Board members and committee members have access to the Google document to add their report. If you don't get it in, your space will remain blank. Email the church office for questions. The church annual general meeting will be held after worship on Sunday, June 7th. New board members will be appointed. All are welcome to attend, but to vote, you must be a member. Speak to a member of staff if you'd like to become a member. We welcome you. As a reminder, please support our building by tidying up after all church activities. Thank you for supporting our staff and community. This is the end of today's announcements. Please check you have silenced your phone and other communication devices. And now please turn around and wave to the lovely people who are joining us via Zoom. Our video camera is just to the right of the exit sign over the door.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, and welcome to First Parish in Waltham, a Unitarian Universalist congregation celebrating a liberal tradition centered around love. No matter who you are or where you're from, no matter your race, faith, age, or sexual or gender orientation, we are glad you're here. Wherever you are on your journey of spiritual or personal exploration, we hope you find what we provide enriching and thought-provoking. I'm Marty Ahrens, an older white female worship committee member, pronouns she, her. As we come together on this Memorial Day weekend, we remember the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom in the past. We pray for peace. Today is also our poetry service. Members and youth of our congregation submitted poems they wrote or found meaningful, and we combined them into a service. Poetry has an impact that mere prose does not. It comes with images and often uses rhymes or repetition. When Emma just played the prelude, particularly at the beginning, did words pop into your head? Yeah. During this month, we have been exploring the theme of awakening curiosity. We invite you to listen to the poems and consider which ones speak to you. Our first poem is Invitation by Shel Silverstein, submitted by Michael, Jen, and Paige Williams. Michael will read it.
If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in.
Thank you, Michael. Every week, we, like other Unitarian Universalist congregations around the country, enter into a time of sacred space by lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. This morning, Elizabeth Hofecker will light the chalice while sharing the poem, Church, that Yana, her daughter, who will be 9 next week, wrote when Elizabeth told her about today's service and asked if she wanted to submit a poem.
Our church is a place of peace. Our church is a place of love. Our church has a beautiful community. Our church is here for us. Our church is here for you. Our church is a safe place. Our church is a place that brings us together. Our church is a place of hope, and that hope can change the world.
Thank you, Yona and Elizabeth. Today's hymns started out as poems. Our opening hymn is Lift Every Voice and Sing, number 149 in the Gray Hymnal. In 1900, James Weldon Johnson, principal of a segregated school in Jacksonville, Florida, decided to write a poem for a school assembly celebrating Lincoln's birthday. He teamed up with his brother, composer J. Rosamond Johnson. On February 12, 1900, James Johnson's students gave the song its first performance. The publisher printed it a few years later as the National Negro Hymn. By 1919, it was adopted as the NAACP's national anthem and is today still considered the Black national anthem. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing this powerful hymn of hope and determination. Please remain standing for our unison affirmation that begins with the word love. The words are in your order of service and on the screen. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated.
Hello, I'm Cameron Rosario. I go by they, them pronouns, and I have dreads, like my mom. And I wrote a poem called 14. Now, I don't know why I wrote this poem, but it's something I'd like to share with you guys. I'm 14 years old in a world that feels so big, too far and too grand for the hate and worry to sink in. The world feels heavy lately, a weight we didn't ask to hold. Stories spill across our streets of colors so vibrant and bold. I'm 14 years old, seeing lives of those we do or don't know. Their truth cracks in voices near. We have rights and values and a life not to be oppressed by what so righteousness so many fear. I'm 14 years old, and seeing we are living in a time that tests the shape of our own. It asks who we are the people who live on, the ones who bless to behold. We speak of choices every day, like a meal we are to create. But our love and our rights and our protections, that's something that isn't up for debate. We are free and we are strong, and no one can take that away. So I speak today of all the days to claim what I have found true, no matter color, accent, love, or religion, but to the open palms of the burdens that sting. The bell of morning has come to ring, to say that justice begins in the quiet, in a world of actions and even song. In the freedom bell we ring, and we'll ring it all day long. Till we get it through that we are the people who live on. In a world that is heavy, we are not powerless. And even now in times of dark, remember this from me or from your neighbor, for you are loved as you are. Whether you've got this from inside or from God, or for the ground and nature above, we are here in the present time of which we learn, and we're learning to relove. Our past is our teacher, and our future is the student, in which we learn again and again. In a time we need to bear arms is the time we have come to stand. I stand for my brother and those I hold dear. I won't cry for something I don't believe for. But for myself, I shed those tears of knowing the state at which we fight for. When life is done and we leave this earth, will our problems ever be solved? Will we be set free for a life that will give us a greater response? Or will we realize one change happens here and now, or not? It's 'cause we have lived on.
Thank you, Cam. Our next hymn, A Fire, Mist, and a Planet, is 343 in your gray hymnal. This hymn acknowledges that people may name things differently, and both can be right. The poem by William Herbert Caruth was originally called Each in His Own Tongue. It was later set to the music of an old New England tune.
Good morning. My name is Karen Klein. I am almost 90. I'm counting down the months to 90. I am wearing blue because I have blue eyes and I like to think it brings out my eyes. I have snow white hair almost. My goal is to match my mother's white cloud, and she reached to the age of 93. I might make that. We'll see. This morning, it's my pleasure to introduce to the congregation one of my favorite contemporary American poets. He was contemporary. Sadly, he passed away in 2018 at the age of 65. I first came across Tony Hoagland. He's not a household word. I hope you all can hear me. Let me know when you can't. Tony Hoagland was what we used to call a hippie. He was an army brat, taking him from place to place to place wherever his father was stationed. So he was sort of rootless. He wound up picking cherries and apples in the Pacific Northwest and a number of strange other jobs as he could. He finally, after not being really religious, and I'll tell you a story about that, he finally wound up as a Buddhist. I have not read how he turned out to wind up as a Buddhist, but that's what I read about him that he did. He was born on November 19th in 1953. He died in October 23rd, 2018. He died at young, age 65, of the same thing that killed my life partner, Jimmy, pancreatic cancer. He died too soon. We miss his voice. He won a lot of awards while he was alive. He was a finalist, and this is the Golden Award, a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle. He wrote a book called What Narcissism Means to Me. I think it's very brave to write a book with that title. Got it published. He got 2 grants from the National Endowment for the Arts, and he had a 2000 Guggenheim Fellowship in Poetry. That's big money. Also, he got a grant from the Work Center in P-Town. The poem of his I'm going to read is called Personal. Don't take it personal, they said, personal. But I did. I took it all quite personal. The breeze and the river and the color of the fields, the price of grapefruit and stamps, the wet hair of women in the rain. And I cursed what hurt me and praised what gave me joy, the most simple-minded of possible responses. The government reminded me of my father with its deafness and its laws, and the weather reminded me of my mom with her tropical storms. Enjoy it while you can, they said of happiness. Think first, they said of talk. Get over it, they said, at the School of Broken Hearts. But I couldn't, and I didn't, and I don't believe in the clean break. I believe in the compound fracture, served with a sauce of dirty regret. I believe in saying it all and taking it all back and saying it again for good measure, while the air fills up with I'm sorries, like wheeling birds and the trees look seasick in the wind. Oh, life, can you blame me for making a scene? You were that yellow caboose, the moon disappearing over a ridge of cloud. I was the dog, chained in some fool's backyard, barking and barking, trying to convince everything else to take it personal, 2.
Thank you, Karen. Our next poem, True, was written by a poet known as the Dreamboat. I'm true. If not true, then honest and understanding in a way. At least, that's what I like to say.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Hoffecker. I'm a 45-year-old, I guess that makes me middle-aged, white woman in a black sweater and a brown top. And I'm going to read a poem that I wrote. So last year, on May 25th, almost exactly a year to the day, 5 days before Yona, my daughter's birthday, I woke up feeling off. I wrote in my journal, "Despite the beauty of the day, I'm feeling heavy and sluggish today. I think it's a feeling of grief, of sadness that's hard to shake. Will writing help?" Despite not having written any poetry in at least a decade and feeling out of practice, I gave it a try. The poem I'm going to read is the result, and it's titled Swallowwort, for the invasive dark green vines that you may have noticed emerging and growing very quickly over the past week. There are some right out there. Swallowwort. Like grief, the swallowwort appears tender and benign, a dark green twirling vine, reaching up, out, and away, seeking sunshine and other plants to guide and hold it. Like grief, the swallowwort conceals tangled roots like twine, impossible to find with over-hasty digging. One must have time and patience to go deep, seeking every broken piece of thin white bulb-like root. Just one rhizome left behind ensures this vine returns tenfold another year. It's not supposed to be here, this black swallowwort. Mimicking the milkweed, it lures the monarchs to a home unfit for life. But it too is alive and will not be gone so soon. Even after years of careful digging, come late May and early June, the swallowwort will reappear. And, like grief, it must be noticed and addressed afresh, tended yet again with gentle care, lest it bloom and overtake forgotten corners of the garden.
Now is our time for joys and concerns. Plum asked me to lead, so Ken and I will be leading joys and concerns today. If you have a joy or concern, please come on up, light a candle, and then step up to the microphone.
And I guess that's all. And now I'll light one final.
Right, one final candle for everything else we're holding in our hearts that's too tender to say out loud.
Good morning. I'm Leslie Gildersleeve. Sorry. Please join me in a time of prayer and meditation. The words of Wendell Berry will lead us into the silence. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water. and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. We come to this place because we love what exists here. This church is a living entity, and like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. Its breath and its heartbeat, its life itself, can only be derived from its living components, us. An offering will now be made by the willing and received in love. Will the ushers please come forward? Thank you for your generosity.
My name is Carla Hilliard. I'm a 65-year-old short white woman with short white hair. My pronouns are she and her. Our next poem was written by Julia Kastorf. Her bio on the Poetry Foundation website includes an interview quote about the influence of motherhood on her poetry. Quote, "You're both incredibly drawn to the small and domestic, and you're also suddenly very sensitive to matters of the world. Your attention is pulled urgently in two directions." End quote. The title of this poem is What I Learned from My Mother. I learned from my mother how to love the living, to have plenty of vases on hand in case you have to rush to the hospital with peonies cut from the lawn, black ants still stuck to the buds. I learned to save jars large enough to hold fruit salad for a whole grieving household, to cube home-canned pears and peaches, to slice through maroon grape skins and flick out the sexual seeds with a knife point. I learned to attend viewings, even if I didn't know the deceased, to press the the moist hands of the living, to look in their eyes and offer sympathy, as though I understood loss even then. I learned that whatever we say means nothing. What anyone will remember is that we came. I learned to believe I had the power to ease awful pains materially like an angel. Like a doctor, I learned to create from another's suffering my own usefulness. And once you know how to do this, you can never refuse. To every house you enter, you must offer healing. A chocolate cake you baked yourself, the blessing of your voice, your chaste touch.
Good morning. I'm Gary Madison, a short, bald, bearded, 70-something white male. I will be reading an excerpt from Walt Whitman's Song of Myself, number 41. I heard what was said of the universe, heard it and heard it of several thousand years. It is middling well as far as it goes, but is that all? Magnifying and applying come I, outbidding at the start the old cautious hucksters, taking myself the exact dimensions of Jehovah, lithographing Cronus, Zeus his son, and Hercules, his grandson, buying drafts of Osiris, Isis, Belus, Brahma, Buddha. In my portfolio, placing Manitou loose, Allah on a leaf, the crucifix engraved, with Odin and the hideous-faced Meshitli, and every idol and image, taking them all for what they are worth, and not a cent more.
Good morning. My name is Ken Johnson. I am a soon-to-be 65-year-old gentleman who has gray hair. Today I'm wearing a pilled sweatshirt, and the poem I'm going to be reading is called Anyone Lived in a Pretty How Town by the poet E.E. Cummings. I may point out, initially I had intended to read this accompanied by a metronome, but my metronome limps terribly and it was horrible, so I thought I'd spare you that. Anyone lived in a pretty how town with up so floating many bells down, spring, summer, autumn, winter, he sang his didn't, he danced his did. Women and men, both little and small, cared for anyone not at all. They sowed their isn't, they reaped their same, sun, moon, stars, rain. Children guessed, but only a few, and down they forgot as up they grew. Autumn, winter, spring, summer, that no one loved him more by more. When by now, and tree by leaf, she laughed his joy, she cried his grief, bird by snow and stir by still, anyone's any was all to her. Some ones married their every ones, laughed their cryings and did their dance, sleep, wake, hope, and then they said their nevers, they slept their dream. Sun, moon, stars, rain, and only the snow can begin to explain how children are apt to forget to remember with up so floating many bells down. One day anyone died, I guess, and no one stooped to kiss his face. Busy folk buried them side by side, little by little and was by was. All by all and deep by deep and more by more they dream their sleep. No one and anyone, earth by April, wish by spirit, and if by yes. Women and men, both dong and ding, summer, autumn, winter, spring, reaped their sowing and went their came, sun, moon, stars, rain.
It's me again. This next poem, titled What We Keep, is another poem written by Yona, my daughter, in response to learning about today's poetry service and wanting to contribute even though she's not able to be here in person. What We Keep by Yona Saleh. When we find hope in our community, we keep it. When we find love in our community, we keep it. When we find peace in our community, we keep it. When we find gratefulness in our community, we keep it. When we find truth in our community, we keep it. When we find relationships in our community, we keep them. And when we find trust in our community, we keep it.
It's Carla again. Although he could not be here, Walter B.B. Center submitted our next poem, The Laughing Heart by Charles Bukowski. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you.
For our closing hymn this Memorial Day weekend, we will sing the first two verses of America the Beautiful, a poem written by Wellesley professor Catherine Bates in 1893. The opening lines were inspired by the beauty of the Colorado landscape. Her poem was published 2 years later. Soon after, it was paired with an existing tune. I experience this piece as a prayer of praise, gratitude, and hope, with wishes not restricted to the U.S. I find some things in common with Lift Every Voice and Sing. While Professor Bates did not mention the harm done to the indigenous peoples, the last lines of the second verse seem incredibly relevant today. Our closing words were written by Birch Q. Take this as an invitation to imagine how wide this world can be, to face the closing doors before us and move toward the opening windows in our lives. Take this as an invitation to remember a critical truth, that none of us have it all figured out, that we help one another grow and change. Take this as an invitation to cross thresholds of challenge, not on our own, not for ourselves alone, but side by side, spirits rising and expanding together. Let us go now to share our gifts and truths with each other and this world. Blessed be and amen. Please be seated for our postlude. Here. Thank everyone who participated in the service, and thank you for the beautiful music. Thank you, and it's coffee hour time.